Welcome to the spot. It's time to ignite. Oh yeah. Operation Hangout. The feeling's just right. Chilling with the crew. We're ready to groove. Opinions flying high. Come on, let's move. Hang out all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Pull up a chair, let's get in the zone. Voices blending smooth like a funky trombone. Oh yeah. Topics from the heart, making us think. With a twist and a shout, raise up your drink. Cheers! Hang out all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Bring it down, shake it up, feel the beat. With every word we share, the circle's complete. Living loud, think it proud, that's what we do. Oh yeah. Join the club, come on through, we're waiting for you. Alright. Hang out, all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Hang out.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is going to be a good one. Catchphrases. Wow. Before we get into that part, let me tell you where you're at and who the hell I am. You are at Spartan Institute Network. The show is called Operation Hangout. I am your host, Ghost of Sparta, aka Peter.
This is Sparta!
But you know there's gonna be a but there. I can't do this by myself. I gotta introduce the most incredible man in the world. We call him a little Groot. Hey, little Groot, how are you doing today, my little buddy?
Today, I am not a Groot, I am a ruler. Either you call me Obafemi or you call me Black David.
next minute, I'm
That's a
gonna
cue
have to
from
say,
that's a cue from NXT. Shout out to my Nigerian brother Oba, running that league right there.
I have to maybe I have to start saluting you like they do in the Black Panther.
Yeah, or like you salute the guy called Obafemi in the wrestler who's the NXT champion right now. How about that?
Well, we're gonna get into that in a minute, but before we get
Yeah.
into the topic, have you catch up the news in WWE lately?
About John Cena going medieval.
Bingo. What do you think? Because it's not the
Not too
first time. People think this
surprised.
is the first time he turned heel. Is not actually. This is the second time.
No, no, this is the second time. He started as the heel first
Correct.
before he went babyface. But when he was the heel, he was almost like an anti-hero. So this is why I say America had got dumbed down for the simple fact They don't like to do their homework anymore. No one like to read. No one like to do research. Everybody think they know everything. More people are high school dropout, GD taking, don't know what a page look like, know what the ink smell like, kind of thing. I'm just saying, I'm just
So
calling it
when
as I
he
see it.
first came
But
on the scene, WWE,
Johnson, what
yeah, he wasn't wearing the jean shorts
he first
and
came in as a he, he
okay,
had a red trunk. He came out to a Kurt Angle challenge to see who can stand up to him. And when he faced John Cena, John Cena, what you bring? He said ruthless aggression. And that right there was his introduction to WWE. And when he held his own, he got the respect from Undertaker when he had the bad man persona. He wasn't the Undertaker. He was more like the Undertaker bad eye with a motorcycle kind of thing. So he got his respect from there. Then later on, according to Cena said correctly, Stephanie McMahon caught him rapping in the
mhm,
background. And she told him, why not give this persona, not the root aggression, but you can have the root aggression, make it your rapping persona, which it fit
correct.
well for him. And no offense, he had a reputation of burying talent. So,
You know, every babyface who's on at the top always buries somebody. I realize Hogan was famous for that. He did not want to pass.
Hogan would, hold on, time out. It's not that he was famous for that. He was intensely known for that. He wasn't burying. He was taking a shotgun, blowing them off. Johnson had buried them. He just made sure there was no nothing to bury you with. So Hogan ain't got time to bury. He's like, let me just shoot it right now, so there's no point on burying it anyway.
Hogan didn't want to pass the torch. He didn't want to share the glory because he wanted to stay on top because he knew for a fact stay on top is all the moolah, and that's
Hold on. Pass the torch. Okay, let me rephrase this thing. Ladies and gentlemen, Hogan does not want to pass the torch. He want to blow torch your career.
yeah.
How
The
about that?
only person he passed the torch is only one person. You know who that is?
Macho Man
Nope.
Randy Savage? What do you want in the
Nope.
Warrior? Nope. The Outsiders? What in the
I'll tell
Outsiders?
you,
No.
The Rock.
The
Yep.
Rock?
I can remember.
No, it's not that he passed. No, it wasn't like he passed the torch. He got no choice but to give up the
It
torch.
wasn't that because the Rock. I mean, the Hogan was going in as a babyface, and Rock was coming as a heel.
No, here the problem. They did the correction. They have been broken down. During that face off they had in WWE, The Rock was supposed to be the face and Hulk Hogan was
You're
supposed to
right.
be
You're right.
the
You're right. Yep.
heel. What
Because the
changed it
crowd.
with the audience response? The whole community of fan, which is OG fan, did not want to let him go. They were the way they were cheering Hulk Hogan and booing The Rock. Hulk Hogan confirmed right then and there. The Rock whispered to, I said, "Hey, we might do a audible right here. I cannot be the
They
baby face.
literally
I got to be the
changed
heel. You
that
got to
on the fly as they're looking around. They were
bingo,
talking to each other like, oh
bingo."
shit. I'm like,
And they caught, not only they caught on, everybody get credit to The Rock for catching on quick.
you gotta give credit. You gotta
When
give
The
credit.
Rock
Rock what
started,
is due. You know, like a lot of people like hate him or love him. It doesn't matter really. But he has
no,
he
he was
has a
trained
talent.
by,
Hang
no,
on.
he was
He
trained.
has a talent for the show. He has a
Hmm.
talent for the audience. He has a talent for the business. This is why he's a chairman right now because he does know the business very well from his grandfather and from his father.
No, it's not that he had a, well, hold on, let me correct you on that. It's not that he had a talent. He said he had to learn a lot from watching his father first, than being under Vince McMahon and see why Vince McMahon was making certain decisions on how he's going about it and how to make these so-called audible.
But you know why
Because
he did that?
he had trouble. He had trouble with his own image before. Remember, he had to redo his own image a couple of times. The one time that saved him is when they put him in the nature of domination, and that's how his new image flourished from there.
But hang
They
on, hang
get
on. Part of the story you're
mhm.
missing, David. So when he
Okay,
was
go ahead.
renewing his contract, he won. I believe that he wanted to go make more than Stone Cold. At the time, Stone Cold was the highest paying wrestler, and
I,
Vince goes, "How much you know?" He wanted. He
and
goes, "I want what Stone
I
Cold's guarantee." It
remember
was
that
$1
one.
million. He goes, "Yeah, hang on." He goes, $1 million. He goes, "Okay, I want 2 million." He goes, "Oh, 3 million." Something crazy number like that. He goes, "Why do you think you're worth that?" Because I want because I am. I am." He goes. So Vince goes, "You know what? Go out, learn the business inside is out, and come back and we renegotiate." Then he went and did that. He came back. He goes,
Bingo. That video.
"I'll be okay with $1 million." He goes, completely.
He that situation that I saw that video, Vince made him look at it at a much bigger deal because, like I said, he learned a lot. Show him how to. I hate to say it, but it is true. Manipulate the audience. Know how you pull the string, but at the same time ride the wave of the audience. When the audience like a particular product, they come back for more, right? Yes or no?
Yeah,
It's like saying you open a restaurant. If you're not serving good food, why would they come back for more? Let that sink in. Why should somebody come back to your restaurant if your restaurant is not serving good food?
absolutely. I'm
Make
not
it make
disagreeing one
sense.
bit with what you're saying.
So what The Rock did, he learned a lot, so much to the point whereby that day when he did that thing with Hulk Hogan was forced to give up the torch. He didn't hand it over. It's just that audible not only saved Hulk Hogan's career, but boosted the Rock career even more. For the simple fact that he was able on a fly to not only follow what they planned, but realize, oh no, we got to switch it around. And he wasn't the only one that did that one. Shout out to the late, I forgot, Latino Heat. He was another one who did the same exact thing.
Oh, Eddie Guerrero.
Eddie Guerrero, even JBL said it. They Eddie Guerrero was so underrated. This guy was a pioneer that made every other wrestler who wrestled with him career even greater than what it is because he was giving them audible to make them even look better. That was something that Rock was doing with Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan did not see how much money he made on that particular appearance until afterward. And he realized, he said, there was no, it's like saying, it's not like you were forced. You got to drop it. You have to drop it because if you don't know how to read your audience and you effed up, you can throw the whole franchise. This is why I was saying that time when you talk about it before, why they would heat against WWE because a lot of these wrestlers of that particular era were being forced out because they feel like they were becoming stale. And that battle between WCW and WWE was that called it the most iconic ever. They were trying to compete on both franchises. Now realize, okay, we have to have a different set of superstar located to the new era or new generation. Why you look wrestling business of today, right now, could have been yesteryears. For the fact, Vince McMahon did not believe in multi promotion. Well,
Absolutely. Vince McMahon was a very, he was a good, this is a gray area a little bit in saying this, but great business Batman. But when he did start WWE, he wasn't a bad businessman. He was ruthless. And that's what
I
you
know.
need in business. But what my only little pushback was going to say was the outcome of Rock winning and Passion and Torch was already set. That did not change one bit.
Hmm.
So that's the only difference. But let's get into the show. Catchphrases. What is your open thoughts?
My opening thought about catchphrases. If you smell what the rock is cooking, you're not cooking no gumbo, you're not cooking no cooking stew, you're not cooking on chicken noodles, but whatever he cook it, it's some more. We don't eat some more food over here. Anyway, catchphrases. I had to thought of it that way. There's a lot of catchphrases that's very, very iconic, whereby it's not only used outside of wrestling, like in TV show, but it's also used in commercial. That it It ended up becoming a mainstay, the most iconic and most simple catchphrase of all time. I don't care what anybody say. If you catch on to it and everybody doing the same thing, it become viral. When somebody's speaking, you say, "What?" If you don't do that, what? You say, what? That catchphrase right there is one of these most iconically most annoying, but you cannot hate it if you want to hate it catchphrase because what it does, it throw the character off their game. And they hear the whole audience saying what every time he take a little breathing break. They make him feel like, what the hell are you talking about? They keep saying, what? That was annoying. But that was cool. We got a new guy bringing a new generation. Yeah, that is like a byproduct of what became from the past era. There's a lot of catchphrases that have been tried and tested throughout wrestling, either between WWE, in WTW, in AEW, in TNA, in New Japan Pro Wrestling, in Wrestling Noah, in Defy Wrestling, in Triple A, in TNA Wrestling. Yeah, I watch wrestling. That lets you know I know too many promotion. Now we got more promotion in the UK, in Africa. Like, goddamn. Oh, Scott Hall, don't sing it, bring it. Oh, that's another catchphrase. It's been a while to bring that catchphrase back. It's been a while. My favorite one is the damn. You know when you did something effed up, and Ron Simmons come in, he give you that look, he looked around, he look at you, and get that word down. That make you feel kind of like, I'm tired. There's so much. Who's next? Everybody know who's next. That's Goldberg. I hate to say it, Goldberg catchphrase was so underrated, but not too many wrestlers can use that catchphrase. Let's be real. You're not intimidated at Goldberg when he was in WCW. The stuff he was doing, it was kind of like saying, the only person who can get close to that will be Ron Breaker if he keep it up with his spearing people left and right in high speed. Guy running like 25 miles an hour. I'm like, God damn. So you need to go to the couple who got the best spear later on. But I digress. There are too many iconic catchphrases to list. And I'm telling you, shout out to MJF. I am better than you, and you know it. How about that? That's another one. But I'm just saying though. But
You know which one that people also was very underrated? The Dudley
which
Boy.
one?
When they jumped on top rope,
Oh
it, what's
no,
up?
no, that day was so iconic. New Day copy it. New Day was blessed to do it a couple of times with the Dudley Boy. The thing about that was that is that it lead to something the most male wrestlers don't like. They end up
Oh,
being
the
female,
other one.
and even the female wrestler end up hating it too because no offense, if you got a very huge noggin, if it's harder than a gorilla head down to you know what, it don't feel right.
Groin. Into the groin. But the other one that you should use too is get the tables.
That was spread out between WWE to ECW to TNA with heavy more on TNA more than WWE after because reason why Dudley Boy made it famous on WWE, ECW, and TNA. But funny about it, they wrestled in New Japan Pro Wrestling and it wasn't popular over there. You ever notice that?
Yeah,
The
you know
Dougie
what? I
Boy,
want to
the
touch base
Dougie
on one
Boy.
thing.
No, I mean I'm saying that Dougie Boy are the multi tag champion on multiple promotions, including New Japan Pro Wrestling. But that phrase would never scream among the audience in Japan because they wasn't feeling that phrase, but was more naysay on American soil. That's the very unique thing about it. What the only I don't say phrase. I think it's more of theme song that it become international heavy. Is the I hate to say it, the Predator. Randy Orton's song is a global phenomenon.
Which one?
Voice it in my head.
Okay, the current one. Okay.
Because when he went on that world tour, all the audience in the European area they went to, the way they were singing that song, it was so loud. Triple H made them turn on the audio so they hear the pitch, and it did the meter pitch. That thing was high. Randy Orton said he did not expect no one know his song word for word to the point he was having good. Randy Orton was like, when I say he said it, he was awestruck. How did mind you, they don't go there much often, but to sing his theme song that loud and that passionate, only him.
That started actually. That trend
No,
started in
from
TNA.
it did no, it started from not TNA. I hate to say that. Let's take that back. It started from New Japan Wrestling when you had Will Ospreay going to the globe, and they would sing his catchphrase, his theme song, higher than anything else. Ever since then, not knowing people have a following for Randy Orton, when he went around, it was massive.
But that New Japan is overseas in the states. TNA
Okay,
started with
Jericho.
Jericho's.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. You're
Jericho's.
correct. You're right. Let me get that.
Yeah.
Let me get credit to
Then
credit too.
it kind of like went over to WWE
AEW,
and people didn't realize it.
but
But
it was heavy on AEW.
yeah,
It was
but
it started in TNA. It went to WWE, but wasn't as loud as it could have been. When he went to AEW, they when they sang his theme song, it was so loud. It was with the second loudest word was CM Punk theme song. They think that was close to that Chris Jericho song. That was loud. So when we come to like compare that with Catchphrase, it's like saying who had the highest pitch. The highest pitch is by far is Stone Cold Steve Austin. That catchphrase, what Steve Austin made one of the most highest iconic catchphrase he didn't realize made him million, almost billion of dollars. Austin 316.
and that was by a fluke.
It was a fluke, but
Yeah, because he just won King of the Ring, and he said Austin. I say something like this, like Austin 360, something like that.
no. Austin 360 said, I should whoop your candy. I should whoop no, if it can't, no, not candy ass. I should whoop your ass, something like that. But the next day, WWE, WWF couldn't catch up to this. Everybody had their own shirt done. Austin 316. That's when they realized, like, oh my God. That was one part.
David,
The
David,
other part,
David, David,
yeah.
David. One thing, you made the list.
Oh, that one. That was WWE.
About who?
Chris Jericho.
Bingo. Or
That
his before that, he was. Would you please shut the hell up?
that was another one too, but it wasn't as heavy as the second one that Austin did. When you in the ring with him and you talking and you say what, and you talking, and you say what, and you talking. That was thing.
David, what?
Yeah, that one right there. That I hate to say it. You know that's the longest ongoing catchphrase ever to this date.
Yeah, but before we get to that, I want to bring something up. I want to bring a little caveat.
Uh oh.
It was a phase that cat phrases stopped completely. Nobody was using them.
What year was this?
It was a long time. It was like after the into the PG era to recently. R-
Hmm.
Recently, catchphrases are being coming back full force.
That's because Vince McMahon trying to control what to say, what not to say, and people were not
That
liking it,
too.
and the viewership was going like.
And also, don't forget, even Triple H had his own catchphrase, if you remember.
No,
That damn good and
Triple,
suck it.
no, Triple A catchphrase was putting Vince McMahon on the FTC.
All right, hang on one second. Let's get this guy in. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our president.
Really, really,
Mr. President,
really.
welcome
Hold on,
to the
hold on,
show.
hold on, Mr. Bennett. You did the John Cena phrase, really? Wow.
All right, Paul. I'll give you the mic for a second. What is your opening thoughts of catchphrases?
Uh-oh.
Um, I don't want. Well, first of all, I don't think I'm going to be on for the whole show tonight. I
That's
got some
fine.
things I got to take, and I'm losing daylight savings tomorrow, so I got to look at a little extra rest tonight. Uh, Here I may show my age a little bit because I think catchphrases is definitely more of a WWE thing, or WWF thing that became more popularized over time. I'm certainly much more grew up on promos. So, certainly the late 70s, the 80s, those guys who could go a while, they didn't have to have their stuff scripted. They could just really shoot off the rip. So I think catchphrases, I think it's cute, but I still to this day I don't understand why they've connected so much with the certainly with the WWE fan base. Can't say that necessarily with other fan bases, wrestling fan bases. But again, WWF, WWF, and NWA certainly, again, it was more about the promo than just the one thing. If I had to say probably the greatest catchphrase of all time, that is, that's probably more than what is woo. So I mean, Ric Flair, built a brand off of the woo, and that, certainly was a
Correct.
signature that I still think is probably great. Is probably still the greatest one liner of all time is the woo, and. But outside of that, like I said, I like promos. So I grew up on Superstar Billy Graham. I'm the reflection of perfection, your number one selection, the teacher's pet, the man's regret, and what you see is what you get, and what you don't see is better yet. Dusty Rhodes, Hard Times, promos like that. Don Morocco, Jimmy Superfly Snuka, and the feud they had. So again, guys who could really, sell you on an event and get you really, and again, this is all unscripted. So I think the catchphrase almost kind of makes it easy. You can say almost anything that you want to say, but then you drop the catchphrase, and everybody still goes crazy over it, despite what you're going to be doing. So yeah, I can take or leave them, quite frankly. I mean, obviously, Austin 316. Obviously, yeah, to beat a man, you got to beat the man, Ric Flair. Certainly that's all part of it. But that was all part of the promo. That was all part of the presentation that he would certainly give you. But I like I said, I'm maybe just because I'm older, I still don't understand the affinity for them. Or even the Stone Cold with the what um, thing. Guys go crazy when they hear it, but I don't know. So I may be, like I said, I think I'm showing my age a little bit with this. So I don't know if I'll be as big a contributor
Oh no, you are.
tonight on that, but
You are.
but yeah, guys who can really just off the cuff shoot. Roddy Piper, as much as I hate it, the most hated wrestler of all time for me is Roddy Piper. After he hit Superfly Snooker with the coconut, I never forgave him for that. Um, so, but he could cut a promo. I mean, Rowdy Roddy. I mean, he certainly had that gift of gab,
Mm-hmm.
and he could make you hate him or go him into the build, draw him into the building. So guys like that is really, those are the guys who really sold it for me, and but I would say at the apex of it all, like I said, it's Dusty Rhodes, it's superstar Billy Graham, and Don Morocco. If you go back and watch some old Don Morocco promos, they were, to me, in my view, and I would probably add Roddy Piper to that. They were probably the four, and I would swap out Piper with Flair. I would say I put Ric Flair up there. That's sort of my Mount Rushmore of guys who could shoot promos, and with those promos came, um, their catchphrases that we all came to kind of grow up on. But yeah, but I'd say the greatest catchphrase of all time. Woo! That's it. And everybody knew it was as and not and he would even use it in his matches, which I don't see these guys doing a whole lot. You don't see Stone Cold in the middle of the match saying the what word or Austin 316 or any of these catchphrases in the middle of the match. But when Ric Flair would go into his woo, the whole crowd would just respond, woo. I mean, it was just, so I to this day, I think that's still the best. If I had to choose one, I'd say his.
The woo got passed down to Charlotte Flair. When every time she said we're doing a match, everybody say woo. Now you're correct. Dusty Rude was iconic. Not only iconic, he was by far one of the best and greatest trainer and teacher in the WWE because many wrestlers of today said it themselves. When they sat down with Dr. Rude, they had to pick his brain. And this man not only schooled them, but educate them on how to find an iconic catchphrase for themselves and themselves alone to make their mark.
Mhm.
And if you watch all the wrestlers that came under the tutelage of Dusty Rhodes, they even do the impersonation of Dusty Rhodes on how he spoke to them. Let me sit here. I'm like, whoa, that should show you how much they spend a lot of time talking, learning, picking their brain, trying to understand the reason why catchphrase have a naysay to their image.
And here's the thing: some of them have like two or three. Ric Flair had, I think, two or three. Is
Yeah,
like limbo riding, jet flying,
Giant piss
yeah.
stealing,
kiss
wheeling dealing
stealing.
son of a gun. So
Oh,
he had a
That's one.
see Ric Flair had a catalog
he had a catalog.
But
of catchphrases.
the
Well, the
one
only guy,
that
the only guy
always
who
go
copied
through
him good was what's his name? He's in AEW now, formerly under Ring of Wrestling. I
the
forgot
black
his
dude,
name.
right?
Yeah, the black dude. He was the only one who not only imitate him clean. Even Ric Flair stayed behind the stage in TNA. He never saw anyone that imitated him on point
Yeah.
like that dude. That dude did it clean. I think he did it clean. He called it machismo.
Jay Lethal. Jay
Jay
Lethal. Yeah.
Leto. He did it so well. I had to watch that video
Now
several
here's a question.
times.
Now he's an enigma to me. Why hasn't he earned a shot in the WWE? That I don't understand.
Thank you. Thank you.
The
It
guy
could
is
also
great in ring
be
performer,
What?
and he's good on the mic, and he can do
What?
those impressions and everything. Why didn't he never grab a shot in NXT or
I
WWE? I don't understand. He's been basically
possibility
an indie wrestler his whole career.
a lot of them will just go through indies or this because they don't want to agreement or the contract is not right. Could be a
no.
multiple reasons that we don't know.
It's more of a creative reason because what Jay Leto did in TNA when he intimidated on Ric Flair, he did it not on. Ric Flair said it's like looking at a mirror of himself when he watched Jay Leto perform as him. And he did it so well when he even dressed like him, he walked like him, threw
But
his
is a
coat like him.
second person that actually came close to him. Do you know who
Nobody.
that is?
Who?
Zack Ryder. Whoop whoop whoop.
No, that's not even close. No.
No, that's
No.
woo woo woo. You
You
know it.
know it,
Nah,
but
that's total.
that's
No,
not
that's
even
not
Totally
what's
close.
different.
supposed to.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
This you gotta look at that video
I've
again.
been corrected before.
No,
Mhm.
when you get a chance after this show, or if you get a chance to look up that video when Jay Lethal faced Ric Flair when he do the promo thing.
I
Yeah.
He's
remember that.
on
I
the
watched
ramp,
it.
and he
Yeah.
did it so iconic to the point where he even did what Ric Flair would take his coat and do the elbow drop on his own coat and do that. Ric Flair
You could
said,
tell there was so many times Rick had to stop himself from laughing or reacting.
"Yep,
Yeah.
It was
it,
so good, and even with Jay, I mean, because Ric Flair would come back, they both had the whole character, and you could tell they were almost ready to lose it, and that would have just wrecked the whole
and that
thing. But
and
they held
that
it
and
together.
that and that how bad it was. It was so picture perfect. Ric Flair said after that promotion, after that show right there and then, he said he never seen anybody get that close
Yeah,
of being like a mirror image of him in that way. It was so good. That is the all-time watch view clip ever on YouTube when it comes to wrestling promo. Even I watched him at least 20 times. I'm like, how much do you study to get everything on lock?
And that's the point. And like they came back with this several times, and even back in when wrestling was really popping, they had some great promos. My favorite one, Bret Hart. The best what it is, the best what it was, and best it is.
But no one can
Best there
copy.
the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be.
Yeah,
Bingo.
and that still goes on today.
Yeah.
My
But no one
other
can.
favorite one is Scott Hall. Holla if you can hear me.
Mhm.
But the thing is, those catchphrase can never be reprised again because for Bret Hart catchphrase, you have to be the best of perfection when it comes to wrestling as he was. And there are not too many wrestlers can get closer. There was one or two from the TNA side of things who were that technical just like him, but they wouldn't call themselves that bad. They tend to look up to the iconic. Um, but when it comes to catchphrase, it's kind of like not so many catchphrase survived the test of time, like one from the old school era. The old school
Mm.
era catchphrase, even when you hear Mr. Ben with his dialogue, those catchphrases are literally iconic. Dusty Road, Bruno Martino, they was
Now
like,
Bruno, not Bruno. Bruno can barely talk. I mean, like I said, back then promos wasn't the
okay, Superstar
the
Billy
end. That's
Graham,
why you had a certain guys who had that gift of gab. In fact,
W,
because if you look
W
at
Superstar Billy
if you
Graham.
look at the WWF formula, all their champions for a long time until you got to Hogan were very bland. The formula back then is that the heel is what builds the match. But when
True.
Bingo.
you had Bruno Sammartino, then for a year you had the Puerto Rican gentleman who was the Pedro Morales. He had it for a year. Then they put it back on Bruno because there were too many fights breaking out of MSG because of the Puerto Rican population.
Hmm.
They put it on Bruno. Then they gave it to obviously Billy Graham had it for a year and a half, and then they put it on Bob Backlund, who is probably the worst. And even until he got to his psycho Bob Backlund, the crazy Bob Backlund.
What about Jesse Ventura? Jesse Ventura, the gift of gab too, though.
That's what I'm saying. But again, with Bob Backlund in particular, it was the heels that built the matches. So some of those guys that I was talking about earlier, Superstar Billy Graham, Magnificent Morocco, all those guys, they're the ones who sold it. Bob Backlund was so bland and so blah as a promo. He needed the heels in order to build up the momentum for the event. But that was a fun for a while. It wasn't until Vince Jr. when he went after Hogan and he brought Hulk Hogan back and Hulkamania. That's when things changed. That's when you needed like a more charismatic champion until Bret Hart. And even Bret Hart, I don't think he was the most, the greatest guy on the mic. He had, his catchphrase was definitely iconic, but I don't think he was necessarily the best promo. But it wasn't until really Shawn Michaels, and then after
It was,
Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I think that's really what
but but the thing is, Jimmy Hart was the mouthpiece for the Hart Foundation.
right, and that's what you wanted a manager for. So again, you had a guy. If your mic skills weren't that great, that's oftentimes why they gave you a manager, because it was the manager who would then sell after that.
Hmm.
Not
Yeah,
always 100% because Roman Reigns is not that bad on a mic, and he has Paul
No,
Heyman.
hold on. Correction. He wasn't doing well at first.
I'll
Then
give you that. Yeah,
the murdering from John Cena forced him to learn, like, you know what, I need to get better on the mic.
yeah. But I want to ask
Then
you guys a question really fast. All right. I know you. I know you're current, David, but Paul, I know you're not that current. But L.A. Knight, I have an issue with him.
yeah,
He reminds me more of Macho Man. Some people say he reminds me of Rock, but his catchphrase, "Hell yeah,"
yeah.
is similar to "Oh yeah." You don't think so? I think it's similar.
It, his catchphrase is closer to that of Austin way of catchphrase what, but it's not the same way as saying yeah to what. Let me talk to you.
He
Yeah.
reminds me a lot of a Macho Man. I cannot get that past me. I don't know. Some people say, "Oh, he reminds me more like a Rock." No, I
No.
even
No,
reminds
no, no,
me
no, 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 no,
more
no, no,
of
no, no,
as
no,
the
no, no,
Macho
no.
Man.
The Rock gonna have that every time he talk, he got the yeah or anything. It's more like Austin. When Austin was speaking, every time you get a break, well, what? So it's almost more closer to Austin response. Going Austin, we're
I'm
talking.
not arguing that part, but the way that his character is, it reminds me a lot of Macho Man for some reason.
Oh, ooh,
Mhm.
yeah. Let me
Now
talk to
add
you.
it. Now
Yeah,
again, add Macho Man to the promo list. All right. Again, Macho Man was also very good at shooting long promos.
yeah,
Look at the one where he has the cream. So I am the cream of the cop. Oh yeah. I mean, so look it up.
yeah,
Him and Mean Gene Okerlund. He's got a creamer in his hand, and so again, he was very good.
yeah.
And
That was
also, my man Eric, he posted in the chat. Really have to give credit. Someone who is also great as far
Jake
as
Rob,
shooting promos.
Jake
Jake the
Roberts.
Snake Roberts.
Ooh,
All right, now
Art
again, now
Anderson.
he is the reason for Austin 316 because it was Jake Roberts. I guess he had like a religious conversion, and so he started citing a lot of scriptures before
Mm-hmm,
his matches and whatnot. So after that, I think it was King of the Ring when Austin won King of the Ring when he beat Jake Roberts
mm-hmm.
and carried him off and he said you keep quoting John 3:16. Well, Austin 3:16 says I just kicked you know what. So if it wasn't for Jake Roberts and what was going on in his life internally, because he was going through a lot of stuff. I mean, he had a lot of issues, drug issues, and all that kind of stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
he did have, somewhat of a religious conversion. I think Stone Cold fed off of that,
And I
and
went.
once he took that one line
Ooh,
after the match is really what launched it. But I got to give credit to Jake
yeah,
for the
yes.
inspiration for Austin 316.
I'm
Yo,
gonna
you all
push
have
back a little bit on that. That
why?
Jake the Snake had a good of it, but also a little percent of it was his wife Karen at that time. Stone Cold's wife had a little bit feedback to like he keeps saying that. I was like, why don't you just say it already? She was like literally going like and he was come home like man, this guy's saying 316 like Stone Cold all this stuff like. Why don't you just say it out there? I think it'd be a good promo. She put the bug in his ear a little bit, and Jake was the bigger bug, so it was kind of like both ways. Like, you know what? If anybody's telling me to say it, fuck it, I'm gonna do it.
And the thing that when he did it, even Vince McMahon did not see this coming to be a massive wildfire. It's the way that thing
Correct.
exploded. You see, that's
It
the
like so
only.
it blew the fuck up.
You see, that's the only catchphrase that tore the roof and the set went up to the roof. Like everybody was rocking the shirt. After 360, I just whoop your ass. After 360, I just kick your ass. I'm like, God, that was the pure anti-hero of that era. The only people who
You
tried
know which
to
one I'll
really,
put in third place, David? Hogan's. What are you gonna do, brother, if Hulkamania runs wild on you?
yeah, that's
Mhm.
for childhood memory. But after
Yeah,
that,
but it's up there. Let's be
it's
honest,
no,
it's
no,
still
it's
up
no.
there.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not knocking. It is up there, but it's up there from the late '70s only to the early '90s. With the actor '91, '92, the stock of that phrase start to drizzle. I give it that. So I'm not saying it's not up there. Austin 316 was so culturally changing. It was like changing of the guards right there and there. Because Austin represents the people who were beyond fed up with authorities.
Mhm.
It got when I say it left the ring, it went all it was so much in wrestling. It entered into the music, it entered into the school. The whole American culture was more like saying
Yeah.
pretty much,
No, he
and
he
who
no, it's that
and who
that
co-
was I mean,
and who copied him in present time? John Moxley. John Moxley is like a
mm,
student to the Austin 360 game, and he tried to take a replica of that, make it his own. Because that's the only person that I could say he copying Austin 360, just the way a Jay Lethal was copying Ric Flair. Am I wrong? Audience, tell me if
haven't
I'm wrong.
haven't I haven't followed John since he went to
AEW.
yeah, so I can't speak too much on that. But here's one guy. Now this guy I've never liked him
Who?
ever, right?
Who?
He's the most annoying guy. He reminds me of the cocky rich kid in high school
Uh
who
oh.
seemed to get away with everything. Hated the guy.
Who?
Because I'm the Miz. And I'm
Ah.
I haven't.
awesome.
I have an issue with the Miz.
I second that too. I second that too.
Hang on, David. I'll give you what my issue with Miz is. Some people don't know where Miz's career really started. It didn't start in wrestling.
I
It
know.
Yeah, it was on
started,
the Real World.
yes,
No, no, that.
MTV Real was. That's what. And he always wanted to wrestle. He had a flag. I think the only reason he got the contract, not because he wasn't tough enough. That's bullshit. That was that was all scripted. Let's be honest here. It was because of Real World, and he showed so much interest. He was always talking about wrestling. He was a huge fan.
Hmm.
I think that's what. And man, what's his name? Called him out once. I can't remember his fucking name right now. He says yes. He's in TNA now.
David Darren Bryan.
Yes, he called him out on a live show before he returned from his injury because he was out for years. Like he called him out, like you wrestle like a goddamn coward. You don't take risks like all of us do. And he got so offended like that. Like why are you getting offended? Because it's the truth.
Yeah.
You wrestle like a coward. That's why they haven't done nothing with him.
And here's the thing.
But for so long, but he was always prevalent for so long. Like I never saw I guess a lot of the I guess the ability or what have you, but he was very good at being annoying. Like he was the guy that you just wanted to see get beat up. He was very good at that. But
he was the poster child for want to get beat up.
But he had a push for a while. He was almost like, and then when he wanted to kind of had that corporate image for a while, where he was coming out in suits and whatnot, he was almost like how Rhodes is right now, Cody Rhodes. He kind of had that image for a while, like he was a corporate man and whatnot. I mean, then he's had the reality show with his wife and everything. It just seems like he's gotten a lot of push for a lot of years. Obviously, he was never given the opportunity for the world title, but still,
he
for
stole
like a upper mid card guy,
he
had a long career with that.
He stole that champ with do the Money in the Bank contract. That was the only way he could get the champ. But when it comes to actually fighting on par to get the belt, he was never going to get the belt. So he was more on the mid card. The fact that yes, he did not take risks like everybody else. He was the only one who never took risks at all, and he would brag about he the only one who never missed a day at all. He was always there ready whenever he needed to do any promo, any promotion, whatever yada yada that what it might be. That might be the case, and he claimed he can out wrestle anybody, which he cannot.
No.
Most his major match, he found a way around to win around the rules. The one thing that made it more embarrassing to him is the fact that when they were trying to say he got no balls, as of lately, he keep doing this like he got big balls, which he does.
Even his physique is not up to par with everybody else either.
No, here's the thing. When he did that thing with Cope, with I don't want to mess up his AEW Edge. Edge call him out. You're a weakling. You're a punk. You're nothing without your wife.
And he is. But hang on, I want to stress this for one second.
The fact that he said your wife got much bigger balls than you.
And that's not the only person. Hang on, before we switch gears, the second person who also did that was the I can't remember who called out the Rock. I mean Triple H. Just I think it was a Rock actually. Just get like he's saying, let me get Stephanie, give your balls back. It's in her purse.
No. That was correction. That was Randy Orton.
Yes, thank you.
And he was smirking. I was like, oh, what he gonna do this time? And he told about, is it possible that you can get permission to get your ball back from Stephanie McMahon? And Triple H, knowing that this guy was trying to roast him live, he said, oh, you want to play that one? This just shows why Triple H is so creative with the promo. He was talking about how his balls are so big, it's hard to catch. I had to leave it in my wife's purse. But then again, I don't know you can really understand that since you ain't got any. And that was like ooh. Even Triple H said afterward, when Randy Orton did that, it was like trying to test him to see if he still got it. Like saying, can you rip a new promo out of nowhere?
You know what's my favorite one, David?
Which one?
I think Paul, you I don't know if you've seen this one. Is with the tribal the tribe, whatever they're called.
Tribal
they're
chief.
arguing. and
Bloodline.
Sammy goes, it goes to him like, I can't remember which brother was. He goes, he's not being, he's not being,
It was Jay Uso. They were
yeah, he's not being
arguing, and
Uzi enough.
no. Hold up. Roman Reigns admit why he put Sami Zayn. He said Sami Zayn is a veteran, but he's also the veteran comes to the mic game. What
Oh, he's hilarious.
he said he did not knew that Sami was going to use that catchphrase, and that catchphrase ended up becoming a multi-million dollar catchphrase
But
for
if
him.
you see the brothers' faces, it goes,
No,
they're literally cracking up on
no. It
stage.
what
One of them.
you know what they crack? What Sammy did, he made Roman book character, Jay book character, what's the other brother name? Jay and Jimmy book character. Even the people around them, they all book character. Even the back, they say even the back was like, what? The audience took it and they not realize that it was so iconic. They used it over and over and tried not to lose faith. Sammy was doing what R2 was doing. Trying to find out, I didn't realize it was known. R2 main job was to see who he can make and break
I
out of
remember
character.
that.
So
That's
what
what
R2 always
Vince
been
actually
doing,
told him that.
yeah.
That's the only reason he hired him because he makes him laugh. He said,
So it's not only Vince doing the Triple A does it. He let R2 go around on purpose on live and see who he can make break character. See if they have to stay in the character. Only problem is Sammy and R2 are the only two right now who can make anyone lose character easily. Before was three was Bruno Tamatino. Remember he do the snake? And when he be pronouncing name, he was another one who was more lethal than R2 and Sami Zayn. That's why people stay away from him because they don't like it when he would do a promo live on TV and he come in. Even John Cena, who put in the best of them, had a hard time trying to stay in character. So those three and what to stay, their main job is to see if I can break you, make you break character, I get a bonus. That was the thing. R2 had a lot of bonus paid to him on how many wrestlers he can make the break out of character. The only person who almost got used to it was the Miz. The Miz kind of got a hang of it and tried not to laugh, trying to stay in character. Not really like it was like a test to see if you can stay in character. Okay, that one was more no, it was more WTW slash
it was
TNA because
WCW. It was during the NWO or
and
invasion.
he brought it over to TNA because it was more raunchy. That was more like this not for the PG, this is for the rated R era.
Let's just gears. I want to bring something up in a minute. I know this is not about catchphrases, but I want to highlight him for a second. Cody Rhodes, when he left WWE, his
Hmm.
career was sink. It was in the dumps, and he asked for his release, and he went on Indies, and he rediscovered himself.
Hmm.
He redid his old character. Now he's this American badass business suit guy, and he's one of the most favorite person out there. I saw him on TNA, I'm like, I haven't seen him in a while. Like, wow.
He had a lot of help.
Hang on 1 second. Before you cut me off, hang on 1 second. I'll give you the mic. I haven't really seen too much of the indie stuff, but I saw him like, wow, he turned around. I really wasn't feeling the whole blonde look. Now he kind of grew on me. Like, it kind of fits him a little bit. But I know he did because his father, memory, like kind of thing, really badass thing. But you gotta give him credit when he's due. The mic work, the wrestling of Spona, his entries music. He has the whole package.
He had a lot of help. Let me tell you why. When he was
I
going through
deny that.
when he was going to his indies, the first couple of places he went through was Ring of Honor, NWA, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and he hang out with a particular group like AJ Styles, the Good Brothers, and a few other were helping with his mic work because they were trying to let him know you need to find something that is your own signature, your own look. That when he joined the Bullet Club. Remember when he joined the Bullet Club, he first came to TNA first. He wasn't doing too well over there. He left TNA and went to New Japan Pro Wrestling. Joined the Bullet Club, then came back. While he was under the Bullet Club, the thing about the Bullet Club, it's like a family. Everybody work with you. If you have any weekend ending, this time working to build your character even better over time. So what they were doing, they were helping him to build a character. So Kenny Omega helped him. That's one, aka the cleaner. Um, Dirty to me not know at the what's the name? The tag team or the EVP in the AEW. Oh, they named that tag team. They call this one the greatest tag team of all time. They claim to be. They help him with the promo as well.
Hardy Boys?
Not
Boys?
the Hardy Boys. The one who claim they're better than the Hardy, but they're not better than the Hardy Boy. They AV,
Which promotion is it? TNA, you said?
they're under AEW. They were like the EVP.
I'll look it up right now.
I forgot their name, and I don't like their name because the name not all that catchy in my mouth. That way it's easy to forget them. They took a break and took the belt over there in New Japan Pro Wrestling. They helped him with the promo because they also came from WWE. Now here's the joke though. A lot of maybe you had this conversation, but a lot of these wrestlers who in AEW came from WWE. They were like jabbers before they left and made their name in TNA and New Japan Pro Wrestling. When Cody Rhodes came out and went hang out with them, they helped him build his image. Because remember when he did that All in the first All In All Out promotion, or was it all I think it was All In. They sold a lot. They made a huge amount of money before the AEW was established. It was around that time he was working on his catchphrase. He was working on his promo. He was working on how instead of being the American dream, he decided to say, I'm gonna be the American nightmare and did that tattoo. He even mentioned if my father was alive, he would have had a problem with my tattoo. Because he did that of saying, I'm tired of being under my father's shadow. Another person who couldn't get out of his father's shadow was the son of Ted DiBiase. He could never get out of his father's shadow. So that was done deal for him.
Yeah, but do you think he got out of his shadow, or did he more so embrace his father? The whole American Nightmare.
He embraced it.
Yeah,
I think he
yeah.
embraced it, and I think that was the thing because those early shots, he was like, basically an offshoot of Goldust. He was Stardust when he was in the WWE, and that wasn't
was a
really going
horrible idea.
anywhere. And I think that it was actually when he learned to kind of embrace it. Now, Dustin, he made certainly an effort. He wanted to totally break away from the cowboy image of his dad, and Goldust was something that he just went head on to. Cody thought he could kind of do the same thing, and it didn't work. So I think he went the other way. I think he more so embraced a lot of his dad,
Which he
even
did.
some of his moves when he does the spinning with the arms before he does the elbow drop and everything.
And
So
Dustin did it.
I think he
And Dustin did the
embraced more
same.
of that
And
instead
Dustin
of
did the
running away.
same. And Dustin did the same. He also ended up embracing some of his father move in AEW a little bit more than him.
Correct.
When I was watching both of them, I'm like, it's funny how you try to break away from your father's shadow, but you end up embracing him more because you didn't realize how much of an impact your father had in the business. Their father was more of a bigger impact than most parents, besides Roman Reigns' parents. Roman Reigns' parents, right? They had a wrestling school and they trained a lot of up and coming wrestlers we are seeing today that we didn't know existed. They came to that wrestling school as well. So there's certain people who had a major impact. Dusty was one of them. Dusty Rhodes, there's no point on you say you want to be out of his under his shade. You might well just embrace it because he helped a lot of people find themselves in professional wrestling. That is facts. So it wasn't like a bad thing to embrace it. It's just that was kind of hard to embrace it because it's like there's a standard that Dusty left behind with a so inspirational. When you have an inspirational father, shout out to Mandrell. Mandrell's giving that inside lesson because remember, I don't do a side story, but Mandrell said when his father passed away, he didn't know how much of an impact his father had until the funeral. It was massive, was huge. People came out, even the mayor and the governor came out for his father. Not really how much of an impact his father had. So Dusty was the same exact way. So Dusty was one of the type of parents it's better to embrace than try to walk away from, compared to many other people parents who didn't have so much a great image, but you want to have your own image itself. But embracing Dusty's own image was helping him to propel himself even more. That was the big difference. Because I remember that promo he did with Roman Reigns, and Roman was kind of like, I hate to say that Roman was taking daggers.
Mhm.
That promo battle that he had with Roman Reigns, it was daggers. But one was trying to tell you, I remember I spent so much hours with your father. Your father knew who I was. My father knew it. Your father knew I was it before I became it. But when it comes to you, he had nothing to say about you. He was throwing dagger. And you can see the look on Cody's face when he was hearing that. Get on, Mike. You want to come in here with the talk catchphrase? But the thing is, that was needed because remember, Roman Reigns is a student under Cody, one Cody's dad, compared to and there are a lot many other. But Roman was trying to tell him, your father built the industry, this generation of wrestler. He built the industry on TNA side. He built the industry in NWA side. He did more on it. And let's be real, Triple H even said, if it wasn't for Dusty Rhodes, NXT would never last. Yet NXT was Triple H's brainchild, his baby, but it's more so to Dusty Rhodes than Triple H. So I think you want to talk about coming out of somebody's shadow. It's either you embrace it or you sink. Because that shadow is a shadow you don't want to walk away from.
Mhm.
That was a legacy left behind. So it's like saying to have a person who is so iconic on a very highly positive level that he helped so many others to find their career, their image, their own catchphrase, walk them through how to get it out of them. This man was like a father to multiple people besides his own two kids. Look at Ric Flair. He got shitted on. I know you may sound like a time tracker, but he got shitted on because he would spend time with his kid like that. Nor did he mentor a lot of people like that. But Dusty mentored too many people. Even people are saying Dusty was the kind of person you ask him for a second, he give you hours of his time. And that's why they had the Dusty Road Classic in TNA. I don't know if they stopped it, but it was a native for TNA because how much impact he had. So for Cody Rhodes to embrace it, that was the best thing he can only do because you cannot supersede that. You
Mhm.
just can't.
Yeah.
So the catchphrase his father left behind, it's like I say, I'm passing down to you. I'm passing down. I'm passing the torch. Please take it to the next level. Why you think Cody will have a wrestling school with his brother? Because you realize what his father was doing. His father was he was saying, I'm not doing this for him. I'm doing it for you and the next generation. This is something I want people can eat. And let's be real, professional wrestling help a lot of people eat.
And also the schools, there's like Booker T School, Rose School, and so on, also helps them put a foot in the door. Back in the day, it was very hard to get yourself noticed because so many indie cities are out there. Like you had to do something very special to be not iconic, unique to get noticed.
Mhm.
Paul, what do you say about this?
Oh, no doubt. Like I said, I think at the end of the day, I think your catchphrase, just getting back to the original topic, I think that can be a crutch for you. You have to be, I think you, at the end of the day, you have to present a personality that is able to blend a bit of reality with the spontaneity, with the creativity.
And
So,
relatable.
like for example, I think one instance where I thought a catchphrase hurt a wrestler was with CM Punk because again, he was so gifted, and I might have to add him to the category too in terms of just guys who could just go off script, off mic, shoot. I mean, a lot of stuff he was doing was simply just shooting straight up. And what I thought hurt him a little bit is when he was the champion and he started using that catchphrase, best in the world. I
Mm,
thought that almost hurt him to it because he was so good at just shooting off the rip.
hmm
I thought the best in the world, it became like he almost became kind of like cartoonish or comedic when he started using it. He like a guy like him, he didn't need a catchphrase, just like Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper did not need a catchphrase.
Did Roddy have a catchphrase? I can't remember.
Not really. I mean, he would say,
He had
"Son of a gun day of a no name's goat" or something.
no.
He would
He had
say certain. He would say certain things like that, but
he had too
but
many.
nothing that really. I mean, Eric may know more than I would. I don't know. Did Roddy have a catchphrase that he was that he was known
Known
for?
for.
That I'm not sure, but
I wouldn't say
um,
that, but Roddy was very good in the mic. But to go
that's what
back
I'm
on,
saying. Off
but,
totally off script. Like
but,
every promo was not a copy of the one that he of one that he did before.
but
And I thought CM Punk was the same way. And so when he started saying best in the world, it kind of like, it's like he sounded scripted when he started doing that.
but I would
See,
say this.
here's my
So,
issue with CM Punk.
okay,
A couple of issues. One, he has burned so many bridges over the years.
Yes, no question. Yeah.
Yeah, TNA, not TNA, AEW was the worst one he burned. You thought WWE was bad. AEW, according to a lot of sources, he did not start the fight. Never felt welcome from the start. I'll give him that. But something about that guy back in the day, he just rubbed me wrong. Even when he was a baby's face, and the way he came out, like I just want to get in that ring and bitch slap the shit out of him.
let me explain why. That phrase that Mr. Paul Bennett was talking about is what got him in trouble. Let me explain. So even though you won the championship, and you that claiming you are the best in the world, and yet you don't have an accolade of proving that, because let's be real, he didn't start it in WWE. He started in Ring of Honor Wrestling. The person that was better than him, that I have a long time rival with, is Seth freaking Rollins. They both came from Ring of Honor Wrestling. Seth left him behind before he came and joined him in WWE.
I didn't
Seth
know that.
went went to NXT first before going straight to WWE before CM Punk. CM Punk was one of the add-in when he did that intro with John Cena when he had the gun. The video clip about that. CM Punk had a chip on his shoulder. The thing is, they rivalry dated back to Ring of Honor because the simple fact, CM Punk feel like he was better than Seth Rollins, but Seth Rollins, I comp, my, no, how do I put it? Let me come to Johnny Rods. Seth Rollins had accomplished a lot more than CM Punk. CM Punk have not yet proved to be on that same level with Seth freaking Rollins. When he went to AEW, the reason why he rubbed people the wrong way, there were wrestlers in that promotion that were by far better than him. I hate to say it, Kenny Omega is better than CM Punk, hands down. Shot
Okay,
fired.
he learned in Japan.
Well, but even though he was in Japan and came into America, the type of wrestling bout that he been having have been considered to be 5-star multiple times. CM Punk match had never been rated five star as many as Kenny Omega. Will Ospreay is another one that is better than him by far. There are a lot of wrestlers in today's business who have been in the business for more than a decade plus have proven to be a far better wrestler than CM Punk.
Absolutely.
Multi-time champion through multiple promotions. I even have to let me throw this one out there. Bobby Lashley is a much better wrestler than CM Punk, but
Bobby
heavily
Lashley's a
underrated.
beast, bro.
He's a freak. Yeah. I'm
Freak,
seldom seen a
freak is
guy
not
that big.
freak is
Uh
not a
yeah.
word, but the thing is, the fact that he came back to WWE hoping to get that big bout match with Brock Lesnar and it did him dirty.
Bro,
I'm
I
still got a beef
still
with that.
cannot understand to this day. Maybe you have been honest because I know the backstory when he won the streak over the Undertaker, Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar. I mean, Undertaker was like, "What the fuck? Why am I breaking a streak against him? He's already known. He's put somebody over, yes, but to him, I don't understand the business behind that." It
That
made
was a
no business sense.
that was a risky business move. I'm trying to say this. Now that I'm talking about wrestling and the catch and everything, that was a risky business move. But my thing is that even when he did that, Bobby was in TNA collecting all the freaking belt, proving a point that he's a better all around wrestler. And when he came back to WWE, he wanted that bout with Brock Lesnar to prove a point. The problem is, I hate to say it, but I'll be quick to clear. WWE was protecting Brock Lesnar from Bobby Lashley. Bobby was an all well around wrestler. He wrestled more match than Brock Lesnar. Let that be known.
See, I never liked Brock Lesnar much. One, I think he was a horrible fighter. I think he can wrestle. He has no mic skills. He's just a big group.
And the
Off
thing is,
camera, he could be. I hear mixed rumors. He said some people say he's an asshole off camera. When he's not in character. Some people say he's a really nice guy. I don't know what to believe. But to me, as Brock Lesnar as the character, I'm not a fan.
but that's the thing. This is why I say when I want to when we talk about cafe and wrestling and everything, there are people who are far beyond better, well rounded than CM Punk. And coming back to WWE, it's more like saying either you make up with the thing you have done so far and make a man, or you get it worse. Yes, he makes him a man, but one person, I'm sorry to say it, I don't think they're ever gonna make a man because their shit is rooted far outside of WWE, and that is Seth freaking Rollins. The other person who had that same long beef with him is Drew McIntyre because they met up outside
But I think,
before, but
but I
before he
think
came
that's
in
what
here.
made him so appealing. Again, he was able to maximize the stuff that you don't like about him. He was able to combine more than any other guy I've seen in recent years. Like the shoot, like he walked that line between the shoot and the kayfabe. He
True.
leaned in on it, and that's why you tuned in, because you didn't know what he was going to say next or what he was going to do next.
Mhm.
One week he could be there, the next week he could walk out. But the first time when he really got himself
And
in trouble, it's like, look, if I'm going out, I'm saying all the dirt. I'm calling out Vince. I'm calling about everybody. And that's the thing. He's such a volatile, personality, and you don't know if it's real or not. That's the thing about it. I mean, it's so
and
much. So
that
he
would be the
right.
bad for
So
AEW.
again, for that reason, I think he's appealing. Either you hate him or you love him, but you're always going to know. You're always going to be tuning in to see what is he going to do or say next, or what beef he may have literally in the back. Like I said, like the stuff that went on with TNA. I mean, with AEW, all that stuff where he just bounced. But again, even up to the time he was actually let go and Khan had to come out and make an official statement, you still weren't
Mhm.
sure, is this real or is this a shoot? And it's like, oh, this is real.
But here's the thing: when he had that issue with Daniel Bryan, Brian Danielson, Dale Bryan, that's
Mhm.
the same person. I had to say that it's by far is the best wrestler in the world. By far better than CM Punk. CM Punk have an issue with that. And like I said, I hate to say it, let me add it to the history. Brian Daniel, aka Daniel Bryan, also from Ring of Honor Wrestling. They all knew each other. Daniel Bryan was calling this guy out because he know who he is for the longest. You been had a chip on your shoulder. You been think you're better than everybody, but you're not. I hate to say this. To this day is over. CM Punk would never be better than Daniel Bryan. Never.
Let me ask you guys something.
When he
Just kind of related to this. If you look at for the longest time, Vince wanted big, muscular, powerful folks to kind of have the title. So that was the deal with Hogan. That was the deal with Ultimate Warrior. He always wanted that. But then I guess once the steroid scandal came out, then you start seeing the smaller champions. So then you had Shawn Michaels, and so now you've had champions like Daniel Bryan. You even had Kofi Kingston for a minute. You had CM Punk for a minute. Do you guys favor these smaller guys? I mean, like if you met these guys in the street, I mean, they're smaller than you, being WWE champions. I mean, at least with Brock, I mean, say what you want about him, but again, at least he sold you to an extent. Like, yeah, maybe I wouldn't want to mess with this guy on the street. But I mean, Daniel
Yes, he
Bryan
did.
looks like he works at the Whole Foods at the nature store with the herbs and the whatever. I mean, there's nothing about him that's imposing at all. So, what do you think about these guys who? And again, yeah,
And here's the problem. I'm glad you said that. That is one of these arguments I've been before in the past. And here's the problem. We don't know his resume, what he has done to God bigger than him. Ring of Honor Wrestling was actually considered to be real pro wrestling. It was like a wrestling group of ultra pro wrestling. And you had to know the technical match. It's just like you have Gunther, aka Water, who take the ring as sacred. That's why his image right now was needed in WWE right now. People like Walter, Daniel Bryan respect the ring because it's not always muscle. It's not what you know how to wrestle. Daniel Bryan is known to break down big people. The moment you take him for granted, like nah, he can't do nothing. When you start to realize he actually put people to a lot of injury if you don't know how to adjust to some certain locks, certain moves. You go like what they call it? What they call catch wrestling? Deep, it's like a school. If you don't know how to do certain intermission hold, this guy was almost as good as Bret the Hitman Hart. That's how good Daniel Bryan
mm,
really is in wrestling,
yeah, he's a shooter. I
and that's
mean,
how
yeah, he's
bad
a
it is.
shoot wrestling. I think is what you're referring to.
Because if anyone who got a better resume than anyone in WWE, it would be Daniel Bryan because not only he wrestled in Ring of
Mm,
Honor, he has wrestled in New Japan Pro Wrestling. New Japan Pro Wrestling style is strong style. Brock Lesnar have wrestled out there. Know what I
mm,
feel like? There are very few WWE wrestlers who have been out there who understand strong style
right.
wrestling. They hit hard.
Yeah, true. But again, a lot of those strong style wrestlers are small guys.
They're small guys, they're small guys, but they're conditioned to take hit from
Mm,
big guys. And the thing about small guys, for someone who into mixed martial art, I always say that just because they're small doesn't mean they cannot hit hard. You be surprised with a small guy who bone density is much bigger than what
again,
you expect. And when they
some
start
of
to
these
hit you,
guys, like I said, in particular, Daniel Bryan and CM Punk. I don't even think those guys are 200 pounds. Eric just pointed
I,
out
I,
Chris
I,
Benoit. Chris Benoit was like a little pit bull. Him and Davey Boy Smith, they weren't big guys, but they were, especially Davey. Once he got on the sauce, he was.
yeah, but Chris Benoit got his landing from New Japan
He
Pro.
did.
I've
I'm
seen the
saying,
video.
but again, he sold you on. He wasn't he wasn't like a tall guy, but he was
Because
built. He
he
was
was forced.
muscular. He
Him,
was
him,
jacked. I'm just saying, like,
I know him and Eddie Guerrero had to do that because when they were leaving WCW, going to WWE. Remember, we look at Chris Benoit before WWE. He wasn't as jacked like that
mm,
before. He was kind of like toned up and
right.
everything. Same thing with Eddie Guerrero. But when they realized how Vince was, they said, "No, what? Let's go to the gym and bulk
And
up a
I
bit."
think it served them well, and it
Here's
made them a
another
lot
one.
more believable. But I said
You remember?
Daniel Bryan and CM Punk, especially when they're wrestling these giant guys, Drew McIntyre or whatever. It's hard.
And,
It's hard to sell.
and I know it's hard because here's the thing: Vince McMahon came from an era of the steroid era. Of yeah, muscle is great. Then I hate to say that Bruce Lee diffused that one when he beat up a bunch of muscle bound dudes who can
Yeah,
barely
but come
even
on, you
fight.
seen Bruce Lee's body though? Come on, man.
Right,
Bruce
Yeah,
Lee had lats as wide as a door. I mean, the guy was ripped, muscular. And nobody had a physique like Bruce Lee in the
true,
70s.
true.
Nobody. The abs, the he was shredded.
And that's why some wrestlers are doing that now. They're not being huge, but they're getting shredded to the point whereby they're able to
But I'm saying
endure
But
longer in the match.
Daniel and CM were never that. They had like
No, no,
they go on
Daniel.
my list as the worst bodies in wrestling. In terms of like,
Hold
guys
up.
who is just like
No.
I said, Daniel Bryan looks like
I,
a beatnik who works at the like I said, at the nature store.
no.
Sami Zayn
He's a
too. He doesn't
vegetarian.
have a great physique. Let's be straight there.
No.
What's his name? Who was Randy Orton's tag team? Who doesn't work for WWE anymore? He got kicked out because of he's a pothead.
Who? The King of
Yeah,
Bro. Yo, bro.
you know who I'm
That's a UFC. That's a UFC
Yeah,
fighter.
he was scrawny as shit. If you really think,
But he was,
Mm.
strong and dangerous because some of his last UFC fight, he was knocking people
Mm.
out, literally. So he was actually a legit fighter. This is what I'm saying. For the fact that you have TKO merging with wrestling, I had a question: when will there be a dispute where people have to understand mixed martial art is a whole different weapon than wrestling? I understand the wrestling part about the thing, but some people bone you don't want to get hit by it. Just like my boy, Anything the Spider Sylvia. How many times when you watch that fight when his thing broke,
Matt Riddle. That's
the
what his name,
guy
Matt
leg
Riddle.
Matt Will, but the guy who broke was Anything the Spider Sylvia leg, he was a scrawny dude. He wasn't huge. But the idea of a bone breaking on impact, let you know, don't let muscle deceive you.
Yeah, but still, even Cody, we were talking about earlier, he's put a lot of size on. When he was Stardust, he was very diminutive. Again, another guy had
He
no
was.
body or whatever. Certainly in that time
He
away,
was.
he learned the business, as you said earlier, but he definitely got bigger.
Hmm. And got better on his mic too because he
Yeah,
had
for sure.
help.
Like I said the mic skills, but I'm
It,
just saying the physicality of it. Again, I think you have to
you
maintain a certain size. I think you can't have, again, the most
at,
diminutive guys having these
at,
title runs.
at a certain age, because even AJ started an interview recently with the guy from Canada. He interviewed about he changed a lot from TNA to WWE because WWE he wasn't so ripped like he is now in WWE. In TNA he was a little smaller, but he was very agile. 'Cause AJ Styles said, as I get older, I realize my body changed. So I got to do a lot more work on my body to maintain myself to actually do this business. There was something not Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley have been saying. But Bobby Lashley have a very different type of discipline. Remember, this is an Army Ranger. This guy is from the military. Anyone from the military got into wrestling have a unique level of discipline that they don't stop working out. They work on their physique to be better because they realize in wrestling there's a too much wear and tear that can happen. If you don't make sure you make your body stronger to be immune to pain and injury, then you're bound to have too much injury and pain. The difference with Brian Danielson, Dan Bryan, he was a vegetarian. He was on a plant-based diet that helped him have longevity in his wrestling because his physique was different, but he was making sure he didn't pack on too much muscle that it hindered his mobility. That's where the issue when come people have a formula for what kind of style of wrestler are they getting themselves into. Dan Brown was a high fly technical wrestler. Too much muscle can slow him down and do some of the moves that he was doing. Unless you have put yourself in a more impactful workout, like who the person? Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker is doing things that even people go to ask a question. How long you will keep that one up? He's jack, but he's agile as a high
Mm.
flyer.
You know what? Here's the thing. Two things. Gunther. When Gunther first came on stage, he was a fucking
Oh,
fat
he
ass.
was
Let's be
chunky.
straight up here.
Yeah,
I'm
he
not
was. He
personally a
was.
fan of his work, because it bores me, to be honest with you. Personally,
He's old
yeah.
school.
But Luger, am I saying his name? Luger Keish. He's tech. Yeah,
Ludwig
he's a
Kaiser,
scrawny little shit too.
and their childhood friend. They both grew up together.
Yeah. No, I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that. They're probably great guys overall. I just don't like the characters. That's my cup of tea.
Here's the problem. They're from the Europe, UK area. That's the British strong style type of wrestling. British strong style. This is what I'm saying. When it comes to
They're
wrestling,
both from
you
Germany, if
gotta
I'm not
understand the
mistaken.
demographics. They're both from Germany, but they wrestle under the British strong style type of wrestling. British strong style is almost a rivalry to Japan's strong style. British strong style don't do all the high flying order. It's more technical. It's more thing that more impactful. British strong style have a mix of technical plus high flying, but it's also strong. That's the type of wrestling they have. That's why when you look into a certain style, yeah, lucha libre, they're coming from Mexico, South America. British strong style, mostly North Europe. With mostly Europe, you could also include Germany, also include here on Ireland and many other countries as well. New Japan, that's Japan strong style. It consists of New Japan, Poland, and Noah. Then you have American wrestling. It's a mix of shooting, not orthodox whatsoever, or Greco wrestling. So when you have people from different wrestling styles start to come into the business, it may seem boring unless you understand the strong style either be from British or Japan. I'll just say this: it hurts.
Sure.
But before the only person who was doing strong style wrestling before in WWE was only one person, the Big Show. What was the thing he normally do? Was it the catchphrase?
Mhm.
What happened? Everybody keep quiet. The mic nearby is raised up. Whack. Now tell me when you hear the sound of his hand slapping somebody's chest and they had the mic nearby, that don't make that little quin sound like you thought you at home watching it.
Oh, that slap, that was loud. Like that chop wasn't a gentle slap. That was a royal slap chop.
And and you can
Yeah,
see the
same with Ric
redness.
Flair. Ric Flair's shots too. I mean, especially back in the NWA, him and Ronnie Garvin. If you ever watch any fights between Ric Flair and Ronnie Garvin, they drew blood on each other's chest because Ronnie Garvin, he didn't have a chop, he had a slap. So he would do the slap, Ric Flair would do the chop. Both of their chests would be literally cut open.
So what do you think Gunther was doing to everybody? The best match I ever seen by far in WWE was Gunther versus Drew McIntyre on that pay-per-view in Drew McIntyre's hometown when they were going chop for chop. The mic around the room was put on an all-time high to hear the chop. If you were to listen as a man, I hate to say it, you be doing this. Because to hear
David, we're on camera. Stop feeling yourself up.
if you knew I was doing this when I was watching it, I was like, what will we feel like after the match?
Oh, these guys are
What will we put on
lacerated. I
that
mean,
shit?
they got legit
No, no, I was thinking what treatment you will put
some
on
A and
that.
D ointment, I guess.
Dude, that's the thing with these guys. That's why CQ literally just said that on his last show on Pop Culture Warrior. He actually was at a role event right after he got hurt. He was in a VA hospital. It was in town. The WWE guys picked him up, and this when the powers were big time. Raw was when it first opened up, and some of it literally took cover because of PTSD. So they went in the back. They canceled the powers for the rest of the day. It was kind of weird. With Taker coming, King coming going and going down like, oh, I don't have no powers. Then it becomes a habit. But one thing he did, I left very interesting to me. And left. He said also the wrestlers were bullshitting with the guys in the back. It was a couple of wrestlers asking like, "Yo, dude, you have any oxys on you any chance?" And that's how they recuperate all this stuff because that's how a lot of them can become drug addict and alcoholics is because they're in so much pain. But now they're taking it a lot seriously. That's why the stem cells are kicking in now. The ice baths, the taking more time off because don't forget, Povalik, aka Triple H, he was a wrestler who's going to Hall of Fame. Kudos to him, but he knows the pain.
Mhm.
He knows what the outcomes. He's one of the wrestlers that,
And this
that
is
I don't
why,
know any drug or alcohol issues. He's one of the rare ones.
well, here's the thing, not that the only Triple H. Let's give credit to where credit's due. Give the Austin Creed, Big E, and Kofi. They created something that it was meant to replace the drug and drinking era that was affecting wrestlers, give them an outlet. But what almost got overshadowed over someone ignorant, aka Vince McMahon, not realizing he was helping wrestlers to find another outlet to overcome their stress and their pain. The gaming thing, it was a new outlet. You know how many wrestlers that play video games? and find out it's more relaxing, it's more
Oh, what's
therapeutic
his
for
name?
them.
AJ Styles is a big gamer. He collects old school stuff.
And this why that up and down show they had on YouTube was a huge thing. But the thing about Vince McMahon, he didn't see the big picture. He was too ignorant and outdated.
Not only that,
That way it was time
Oh,
for him to go.
McMahon, he
It was
could have
time for him
bought
to
you.
go a
He
long
could have
time.
bought what was it? UFC. Shane tried to get him to buy UFC years ago, and I think he poo pooed or whatever. But I think that
he
was
laughed at him.
yeah.
Because Vince McMahon was outdated. He didn't see the vision of what could happen next. Because to have wrestler get into gaming and not to realize how huge gaming really is, and you trying to control them that way, they don't control. Try to negotiate with them so they can. Because if your game sell more than what expected when they're doing what they're doing, they're bringing more money into the betting. But Vince McMahon being outdated, out of touch, need to go home. He was hurting a lot more wrestlers. Wrestlers want to leave the promotion. The moment he got literally kicked out, that's why the rest of it picked up even more. Just remember what the dark cloud in the rest of it. Don't want to be under.
But I give you another guy
Period.
who actually helped a lot of wrestlers. DDP. DDP Yoga
Who?
helped a lot of wrestlers, and that's another outlet they're
Yeah.
having too.
Oh, that one for all the OG wrestler who came out from the drug era, who got severe injury or relapse. That dude is another helper on multiple promotion. Multiple. I mean multiple. And not just WWE. He helped wrestling in WWE, AEW, TNA, every promoter come to him for therapy. They realize what he does is very highly needed. If I was Triple H, you may well put a huge chunk of money to expand that business because that is life saving. The amount of injury a wrestler go through in a career of 10 years is beyond tax. There's another guy who have been going around the naysay. He's a chiropractor who have been doing chiropractic for a lot of wrestlers, and you have to hammer everything. He make a lot of money off them screaming. It was kind of funny. You know who I'm talking about? He's a lighting chiropractor, and he does a lot of readjusting for wrestlers, and he's a big deal. And I'm telling you, the thing about the wrestling business, I think going the next couple of episodes we're gonna be talking about, we need to do a dissector on each area. Catchphrase, it by far is big because catchphrase not only solidify your career, but also solidify your character. It does, and Dusty Rowe emphasized on that very big because no one will recognize you without your catchphrase. Let's be real.
Well, especially
We
now
did
with this era
woo.
of branding. I mean, I think I think it certainly helps. I like I say, I don't think
Even
if you're good, I don't think it matters. But if you're not good, or like I said, to me, it should be the icing on the cake. It can't
it
be the
is.
cake though.
No, it's icing on the cake, but it also makes you memorable because, for example, you say woo. Everybody know it belongs to Ric Flair by having passed on to Charlotte Flair. But also know there's only one other person who can do that too as well, and that's the only person who gave him the pass because even Charlotte Flair knows he does it better than her, and she
Yeah,
know that he's likely to do that anytime he
yeah.
feel like it.
I want to touch
That's the
base
given.
1 second back to DDP. On a little side story. I met him back in 2017 in New York Comic Con. It was him, Lita, and Christian. The first thing he did to when he met me, he handed me his business card, his DDP, because he had discounts at the time, because he was trying to pick it up. But he was pushing that so fucking hard for everybody.
Mhm.
Didn't care who you were,
It was needed.
and so is needed.
It was heavily
He helped
needed.
a lot of guys. I mean,
And to
I
this
think a
day,
lot of
it is
guys would
needed.
not literally Jake the Snake Roberts. I don't know if he'd be here without DDP. He'd have been a
Look
great.
at what's his name? Shit. He was in a wheelchair. I can't
Yeah,
remember
Lex
his name.
Luger.
Lex Luger. He's actually, I don't want to say walking again, but he's standing at least
Yeah,
because of him. And then when I met
Mhm.
Luger last year, we met him was it last year or the year before? I can't, no, a year before I met him.
Mhm.
He,
He helped Jake the Snake Robber too
That would be
to recover.
yeah, I
that
heard it.
would be hard for me. I don't know if I could do it. Um,
Why?
because again, when you're so used to seeing somebody in that thing, like to see him in that condition, that would be heartbreaking for me. To see. I mean that's just
That'll be anybody who know him.
yeah, yeah.
Hang on a second. I have a little backstory to say on that. That year, it was like 2003. I met him. It was him and Million Dollar Man and Jake the Snake. Jake the Snake was sweet guy. I was I was expecting something else. I was expecting an asshole, but he was really nice.
Mhm,
Then I met, Mr. Million Dollar Man. He was sitting there quietly. Nobody's really going up there to get his autograph. That was heartbreaking for me.
mhm,
I expected a line out the fucking door for these guys.
mhm,
Like Luger, same thing. He was really nice, sweet, walked around, and I saw him like literally, pushing the chair. The agent was pushing the wheelchair, and I mean, the man was holding the money that they earned. He's literally holding that like for dear life, tight as fuck. He was scared somebody's gonna steal it or whatever the case was, huh? And that hit me so hard.
mhm,
Somebody who was up in Graceland, that we all dream to get up there financially one day, have fallen from grace.
mhm,
Yeah, but one person who got affected by that the most than anybody else was Sting. Sting consider Lex Luger like a blood brother, big time. Cause they grew up in, they were together in that business until Sting made a change to get his life back to God and everything. And Lex Luger thought that he lost a brother,
He wasn't
not
ready
realize
to
he did
change
not
his
lost him.
ways at that
correct.
time. But why
Yeah,
did Lex Luger get his
well,
back all screwed up? It wasn't because of wrestling or drugs. He slept wrong on an airplane and he just gave out. And that was the ironic part.
and the thing is, and that's weird. And what scared the most, what was shocking the most, while he was going through all that, the only person who had been by his side through thick and thin was
Mhm,
Sting. And when he said he literally cried. He said this like it a brother from another, like the favorite brother from another mother.
yeah.
Sting was the brother that he always needed. Never knew who would be there for, and it was like I knew Sting is almost like another Dusty Road, but he is. Sting is one of the kind of people that if he sees something in you, he'll be invested in you. And as a Christian wrestler, which is a very few of them, you got Shawn Michael, another one. Shawn Michael would try and take up the mantle of Dusty Road because Shawn Michael knew what he went through too, and Dusty Road also helped. Remember I told you Dusty Road helped. Ladies and gentlemen, Dusty Road impact spreads like a virus. There are so many people that he helped. They had no choice but to help others because what the guy did to them too.
You know what I liked about him
That's
too?
why what
The
they're
way he
doing.
talked.
Yeah.
The
If I was a
southern way
wrestler,
oh baby, I'm like
no, if I was
I'm
a
not
wrestler,
I'm not gonna pretend like I can, but he
no, I can't do it. But if I was a wrestler, I was under him and hear that he passed away, I'll be emotional wreck.
a lot of
That's what
people were.
the dude. A lot of wrestlers were saying it. I mean, he was like a father. That type of impact he had on a lot of it. He spent a lot of wrestlers don't get hours from an OG that easy. But this guy gave so much of himself to the business that whenever he come in, these wrestlers act like kids around him. I want to pick his brain, want to learn so much about the business through him. Even Shawn Michaels said it. Dusty is that type of light that was needed in the wrestler because there was so much darkness in wrestling. There was so much of it. He was like a light that trying to get people to turn around. Bad. And his passing hit more than a rock because only you know the type of impact he did a lot. There were people who could have gone to jail. Dusty kind of like, no, 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 no. Let's sit down. Let's talk this one out. Now, why you taking the wrong path? He was yanking people, bringing people to the corner like, no, we need to talk. We need to see what's going on. That was like another fault. That why when they did that promo, like Roman did that promo with Cody. Roman Reigns say it hurt him when he lost another father before his father. Dusty was a father to him. Dusty saw Roman Reigns before Roman Reigns saw himself. There's a lot of us would say the thing about Dusty. Dusty found me before I found myself. This man let me know this is who you. He will work with you till you get it right. So EVP doing that yoga thing, that's Dusty handprint on that one. A lot of these other veteran school who trying to bring people and take a chance to get out of the street. That even Jacob Fatu talk about Dusty like that.
Mhm.
He said he see Dusty. He said he wish he had the time to spend time with Dusty, like other people had. Dusty was that kind of. I wish I took over. If I would have met that guy and see that type of impact, I might have had open up a wrestling school in Africa because of him. Like, dude, do understood what people were doing because the wrestling business was the only outlet for those who could not make it in the corporate arena or make it in the military. Like there was no more way out. They were fed up. It's like saying, let's say Ghost Brother got tired of cooking and just joined on a Dusty Road School. You could have made it big either you were a wrestler or a it was a way out. Literally. Hand down. Or another avenue that people look down on, not realizing up to date, is now bringing bacon to the table. So when it comes to catchphrase, you need to go to the Dusty Road School of Catchphrase first, and go to the OG alumni. Let them put you through it, like Samoa Joe, another one in the list. You will have to throw Samoa Joe on the list on that one too, because he have a lot
Two
of crazy
funny stories
catchphrases.
with Fast Rock, David. Dusty Rose. People used to make fun of my uncle Pete. Says like, are you related to Dusty Rose because they look so similar, both of them.
Mhm.
Blonde, the hair back when they had the big glasses, back in those days. It's like I wish I had a picture of my on my computer to show you guys. Now, my uncle was a humongous wrestling fan. Anytime they were in town, he didn't care how much money cost, how many he worked or not. He will find a way to go to them. So one day, Bigelow, Big Bang Bigelow was coming out, and my uncle's talking shit. Well, you fucking suck, whatever. And Big Bang Bigelow took that a little more personal than normal. Like, yo, dude, what's your fucking problem with me? They're arguing about like, let's go in the ring and let's handle like men. And goes. So my uncle thing was tough. Like, okay, let's go. So they go back in the arena. They go at it. Of course, my uncle's got his ass whooped. He had no chance. And I'm hearing this story. I'm like, what was my uncle drunk or something?
Mhm.
You wrestled or try to fight, I should say, Bag Bigelow.
And you got to bang bang out of him.
Oh God, yeah. Like the funny part, every time my uncle got knocked down, he was trying to be gentle, teach him a lesson. Listen, don't fuck with me. I'm being nice. He gets back the fuck up and knocks him back down. Eventually, maybe probably had a fucking enough. Like, you know what? Fuck you. Boop. And knocked him out cold.
Can you highlight the last response from Eric? Dusty top protege that you remember Magnum TA. I remember that one. Bang with him. I remember that. Now, the other one I don't remember is Sam Houston. Those are top protege of Dusty.
Here's the
But
thing: Dusty his shows such a long heritage. He put the time, the effort, and the energy and everything. I remember when they were talking about a story about he was broke, no money, nothing, and he gets a phone call from WC. I think it was WCW. I'm pretty sure it was, and he teared up, just finally a break because he was like go from WWE. He didn't know nothing about wrestling for years.
Mhm.
Then every other company, he found out okay, he's struggling. That helped him out, and I think what hit him hard for all wrestling fans, including myself, he was the last year of his life he was struggling with kidney disease. That's what killed him,
Mhm.
and it took him by storm, and it was fast. He thought people are like, oh, he's gonna fight this off, but if you see his pictures towards the end, he
he
was
was
half the man he was.
he lost a lot of weight.
when you lose weight like that craziness, you're on borrowed time, my man. You're on borrowed time.
Mhm.
And Paul, you please correct me if I'm wrong. You know fitness more than I do. Am I wrong or right? What I'm saying.
No, no question. I mean, he was so busy. He basically produced. If you watched the NWA Saturday Night on WTBS on Saturday nights, he was the producer. He was the booker. Now, again, a lot of people, I would say, as a criticism, which I kind of agree with, his booking was so. I mean, he was great at certainly finding talent and developing talent. He was known for what's called the dusty finish, which didn't endear itself to fans. The dusty finish was basically when a guy apparently won the match, but then because of some technicality or the referee got bumped or something like that, the referee would come in and reverse the decision. So the crowd's going crazy because the guy won, but then the decision would be reversed, or some other referee comes in, the ref counts 1, 2, 3. Another referee comes into the ring and disputes it because of some penalty or fine or something. And then they said, well, reverse the decision. So I think in a lot of instances that went on too much. So again, his booking wasn't always the best, but certainly as far as talent, finding talent, developing talent, absolutely. And the names that Eric had mentioned, especially with Magnum TA. I mean, in Magnum, that they say the accident Magnum got in may have led to the demise of NWA, because he was slated to be the next NWA champion and have like a long run with it. But unfortunately, the accident was something that to show you, but he was supposed to be the heir apparent to Ric Flair, and that didn't go down, as a result of it.
The
So
problem
you
with
know,
Magnum,
but
he was such a wild card. Nobody could control the guy. He
mm,
was just a loose cannon. Things he used to do, like you're scratching your head, like, dude, that's illegal what you're doing. Like, oh, didn't give a shit. He was drinking
well,
and driving all the time. He did
but I think all the guys that did it was one of those things where it's like, most of those guys, if you're honest, they didn't get caught. But all those guys did. I mean, between the women, the drugs, and the alcohol, and all that kind of stuff, how these guys were able to get from city to city, town to town, and show up is a miracle in and of itself. But I think Magnum, again, he was the guy, and a guy, that accident happened less than like a few of 100 yards from his house. He was turning on the last road to his house, and he ran off the road or something like that. So
But
so
the
again,
difference with Magnum and versus other ones, it was only one other one too, was he mixed up his not only business, alcohol, and drugs, he also got involved with borrow money from the mob too. So he was always on a run because he
wait a
owned
minute,
a
that I never knew.
yeah,
That for
once
Magnum
outside
here
the
with
ring, they explain it.
he was with the mob stuff. Okay, because I know that was the case with that guy from Texas. What was that? That, and again, he was a skinny guy. He was with World Class for a while. Eric, help me out. The guy who he was found dead in a hotel room. Gino Hernandez.
He's one of them.
He's another.
Later
He was a
on,
now. That was a wild card guy. He got for what I understand, he got caught up with some mob stuff or whatever, and they so they kind of got to him. I did not know about that with Magnum. I'd have to watch that episode.
yeah, he got involved with the wrong people. And that's the reason why. But that's why he was such a wild card. Like he had
Mm,
a loaded gun with him that started shooting in the air. Like, dude, you can't do that. Like, these guys did stuff like that, crazy shit, like drinking and driving and alcohol and drugs. But he was on the next level,
mm,
completely on the next level, and people didn't realize that.
yeah,
It was too late.
yeah, yeah. Wanted to take it back to I know we're talking about catchphrases and whatnot, and I actually put in the chat for maybe we could talk about commentators in an upcoming show. But I know one, I would say a catchphrase from from an announcer that I thought was pretty iconic and was certainly something that made ECW was Joey Styles. When Joey Styles would say, "Oh my God," in that high pitched kind of voice or whatever, that was pretty memorable. I thought the way he called events and matches and whatnot, I definitely thought his catchphrase of OMG was certainly something that was like pretty iconic, that that melded very nicely with the brand.
Who
I don't
was
know
it?
how. Were you guys really into ECW in
I
its
was,
heyday?
I was a huge ECW. By the way, Paul, he was the guy you're talking about, Gino.
Gino
Uh,
Hernandez. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Which announcer are you talking about, Paul?
Joey Styles.
I don't remember. I
S-
don't
The
remember as
skinny, the
much.
skinny kid. He looked like a kid with glasses on.
I know who you're talking about. I don't remember him as much because I was young. Remember that.
Oh, okay,
But the
okay, yeah.
announcer that used to also say that too was also man, what's his name?
Well, Jr. said it
Yeah,
some, but Joey, he had a way of saying it like, oh my god, like it was like so high pitched and outside of his normal speaking style. But like I said, it went very well with the brand because the stuff you were seeing was so wild that was like, it just went very nicely with the with the presentation. Because I mean, ECW, especially you see it for the first time, I mean, they were really taking it over the edge in terms of the stuff that they were doing there. And yeah, I tell you that, call it a rebel promotion. And again, I can't stand Paul Heyman to this day, the way he ran that thing. So I'll never be a Paul Heyman fan because of that. But for what they gave, especially the matches, you want to talk about some of the most brutal, hardcore matches ever that were not so much with the barbed wires and stuff, but they had this guy Tanaka versus Mike Strong. If you ever look up those matches between Mike Strong and Tanaka, some of the craziest, wildest matches you ever saw. I mean, they're up there in terms of their
absolutely. You can't argue that fact. But let me
yeah.
ask you a question, Paul, for a second, because you're talking about announcers and all that. Could you argue the fact Paul Heyman is a good on the mat, Mike?
Oh, he's great on the mic. He always has been. And again, there's a difference between, it's like anything else. You can be a great talent. You can be a great athlete. That's a totally different animal than being a businessman. And
Absolutely.
so I'm saying,
Oranges kind of thing.
so again, right. So I'm saying, as a businessman, he was terrible. But certainly as an in-ring talent, even before, when he was like Paul E. Dangerously, when he's with WCW, when he brought back the New Midnight Express, he was a great counter and to Jim Cornette at the time. He was great as a heel manager, as the kind of the preppy guy with the cell phone, and he always used that cell phone just like Jim Cornette used his tennis racket. Paul Heyman, or Johnny Dangerously, as he was known at the time, would certainly use his cell phone. And back then, the cell phones were like these big, giant, square things. So he would always whack somebody over the head with it or something in the matches. So again, as a talent, in-ring talent, yes, I would certainly give him that. I'm only talking about his management and running of ECW was terrible, and he stiffed a lot of people regarding payments and things like that. And he broke a lot of people. I mean, literally, the guys went broke trying to work with him. But I guess he was a great pitch man because he got these guys to do stuff. He had people maxing out their credit cards, whatnot. And I think certainly what
I'm
happened
not
with
disagreeing what he
yeah.
did was a scumbag move. I'm not denying that one bit.
Mm.
But as a performer now, technically,
Yeah, no, tops.
yeah.
As far as mic skills, absolutely.
Even when he was put through that table by the tribal's chief, whatever his name is now, I was surprised he was able to, like, a fat, scrawny guy who looked like a Mr. Penguin went through it. When guy Kevin credit, he took a big risk at his age doing that.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, he's definitely very good. And again, he made he had his own catchphrases. Remember when he used to talk about he's a Paul Heyman guy?
Yeah.
Paul Heyman, I am the advocate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or just funny. The way he would say Brock Lesnar. It's like Brock Lesnar. I mean,
it's funny you mentioned this, Paul. I literally watched a video the other day. The way he comes out in the ring, ladies and gentlemen, he has a reason behind his madness. He says,
yeah.
So except doing like everybody else does,
he said it, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul.
Yeah,
Heyman.
that's what All right,
And
Paul.
Yeah,
I'm
All right,
the
all right.
advocate.
yeah.
You've reached your limit on talking. Shut the fuck up.
Hey, he only got one today. Actually behaving for once. But he said, I'm not going to do what everybody else does, doing their promos and their catch lines. I'm going to do it in my own certain way. And his way was, ladies and gentlemen, my name is. And it's genius.
Yeah.
And he also said when he ripped Vince McMahon's ass apart years ago, he goes to him, Vince, you sure you want me to do this? Just make me money. Or draw me money, he should say. Are you sure? Because I'm going to hit below the fucking belt, and you're not going to have a pair of nuts when I'm done.
Mm.
Draw me money. I don't care what it is. And he brought his father into it because he says, I knew his father. I worked with his father. And against him and words. Like, so I had the right to bring his father up. I worked with his son, his wife, daughter. He brought the whole fucking family. I'm like, oh, we're going that route. But you gotta give the guy credit. He's a genius when it comes to the mic stuff.
Oh,
Vin
for
did
sure.
say,
Yeah.
no, Vin did say, make me money. He said, okay, I will make you money, but the kind of money I'm going to make you, y'all might be like, huh?
No, I give credit to Vince in that regard. That Vince, like I said, money, he would do anything for money. The
Yeah.
guy took stink face from Rikishi. He, whatever he needed to do to make money, he certainly wouldn't do,
Yeah.
he's the type of guy he wouldn't ask you to do something that he wouldn't be able to do himself if he had the ability to.
In
The
other
only
words,
problem I have against
in
that
other
when
words,
he
he is Mr. Viral before it became a thing to go viral.
agree, David. But my only issue when he was making his kids do things like, yeah, I am not comfortable doing this, and he didn't care. And that's a whole different conversation. But we're getting closing thoughts
Yeah,
in
but
because it's getting
before we
late.
close, I'll just say anything about what you just said just now. What he did is, it's safe to say, he the originator of what destroyed the family home, because the thing that he make his kid do or think of doing, it became a naysay in today's mass media programming.
Yeah,
What
but he didn't
what
think
is
it was
what
anything
what is
wrong.
good
That's the thing.
what is good for business? Meaning, what can go viral? Viral mean money, but at the cost of what?
Yeah. Well, isn't it someone said if you're a billionaire, you probably got some blood in your hands somewhere. You don't get to be a billionaire without some skeletons in your closet.
There you go.
I always
There you
say,
go.
if you're gonna be a
There you
billionaire,
go.
your hands are dirty.
Yeah.
Simple.
You
All
got
right, David,
closet,
you want to go
closet
first?
plus skeleton. I don't mind. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Black David, aka
Your limit on
BBN Tech
talking.
Talk.
Shut the fuck up.
Anyway, that will also be my Catfight news song. To anybody who want to say something to me, you get that theme song. But anyway, this has been a very interesting, comical, but very educational program that we did today because Catfight. Because if you love wrestling and grew up in wrestling, then you have to remember a lot of catchphrases that were either iconic or memorable or a tied to a particular wrestler you can remember and then some. And I think this would create a culture that super exceed the United States because the catchphrase went out the door to the point whereby it not only was known in wrestling, it's also being used in movies and many other programming out there because wrestling became something that it's a naysay culture is not going to change and it's spreading like wildfire. We have professional wrestling in the United States, in Canada, in Europe, in Asia, now going to the Middle East, and now in Africa. Everybody want to hold a wrestling school. Everybody want to learn how to have a cafe, what cafe will work best for them. And a cafe is something that had to signify or identify who you are. We talked about how one particular catchphrase almost got somebody in trouble, aka CM Punk,
A new
and it
subscriber.
and it did. because when he came out, I am the best in the world. To claim that, you have to prove that. Just like the man say, to be the man, you have to beat the man. How many men did CM Punk beat? I'll be waiting. I'm just saying, whew, you got to be careful what you say. But I'm telling you, it's a journey that I enjoy to listen and watch and see how people work on that character. I have my catchphrase, but I'm not gonna put it out there yet. But when I'm ready to put my catchphrase, it'll be iconic to me. But going forward, this theme song right here that be playing, you see me notifying, that is my theme song for all you guys to shut the fuck up. Until that notice,
You want me to follow that, really? But
Good luck.
anyway, man.
you old school. Do
Um,
the OG version. You do the OG version. You the San Marino
no,
version.
no OG version, but yeah, catchphrase. Like I said, in certainly in today's time, the social media time and whatnot, obviously catchphrases certainly I think can really help you build a brand. But certainly, if you don't bring those other elements to it, the ability to elicit emotion in people, your catchphrase, it can, like I said, it can be a crutch, and it can be, you can almost be typecast by your catchphrase. But again, can you really can you really sell either with your ability in the ring, the emotion that you put into the ring, or like I said, can you deliver an unscripted promo that, again, where you can walk that line? That's why, again, I'll always give CM Punk credit, because again, he could walk that line between shooting and kayfabe in a way that really that draws you in. You're compelled to listen whether you like the guy or not. So again, I'm always going to defer to those guys who can really shoot and really, have an extended promo in ring, or in the backstage or whatever. Those are the guys, who I admire. And again, the catchphrase at the end, again, that's the cherry on top. But it shouldn't be everything. One guy we didn't acknowledge tonight that I think it certainly has an iconic catchphrase that's very short, but it is certainly, it defines the guy. You know who it is immediately when you hear it, and that is "It's True." And we know who that is when you say "It's true." It's D True. So again,
Kurt Angle.
shout out to Kurt Angle, who came out with that, and he rode that to the Hall of Fame and beyond. But he was one of the best in ring performers of all time. And certainly with his background in amateur wrestling and gold medal and whatnot, he employed all that. But it's true.
It damn
Probably,
true.
and I remember that one in particular because I used to play with my daughter, my oldest daughter, when she was young, and when she was just starting to speak, and I was really into wrestling at that time, so I would say it's true. And we would go, we would play this game where we would use the catchphrases of certain wrestlers. So I say, "What does Kurt Angle say?" She'd say, "It's true." Or what would The Rock say? Or Stone Cold or something like that. So we kind of had like a roster, and like, so I would say the wrestler's name, and she would give me the catchphrase. So I literally just thought about that in the last few minutes. But the favorite one we used to like to do is Kurt Angle, and this was like when she was just starting to speak and making her baby sentences and stuff like that. So what does Kurt Angle say? It's true. So
Aww.
so again, that was a sort of a touchy moment that I just remember back in the day. So again, it can definitely make you memorable. But Kurt Angle, he brought everything to the table, and I think that's what made him such a successful and popular wrestler. And so I just hope that wrestlers continue to work on their craft and be able to, again, to create an emotion that again draws the crowd in, whether it be a face or a heel. But in that regard, catchphrases and everything. But if you got everything else going, it could certainly be that thing that really cements you in the eyes of the public. So
That is true. It's damn true.
I agree. Fuck off, David. I agree 100%. Everything you guys say. So As much you hate them or love them, catchphrases is part of the business that is here to stay. We go through strange waves and all that stuff. So I totally agree. So let's get into our schedules really fast and get a heck out of here. So tomorrow, gray area, we're gonna have a open platform. You guys are welcome to join us. Let's chop it up and have a great conversation. And we're gonna be back on Wednesday with Naruto, the journey of a ninja legend. Wally and David are going to have the show. Who knows what kind of trouble they're gonna get themselves into. Now on Thursday, this is Paul's show. He will be running it. I'll be there helping him. I'll be there. Let's put it this way: the John McClane complex. You want to explain that a little bit, Paul?
Yeah, so I mean, John McClane, obviously from the Die Hard franchise, certainly one of the most iconic action heroes that's out there. And but always part of that backstory was is like it doesn't matter what he did, he always was saw in trouble with his family, the family that he saved more times than not. And but yet just getting respect or reverence for his family was very difficult for him to from the get. So I mean, if a guy like John McClane can't get that kind of reverence from his family despite what he does, then for the average guy out there or the average husband or whatever who's trying to gain the respect or admiration of his wife, can guys empathize and relate to that? Or is that something that guys should that really strive for? So it's like, a lot of guys say it doesn't matter what you do, it's never enough. And so, so I always felt that with John McClane, that was always like an underside of the John McClane story, the Die Hard story, that I always found most troubling, and I would always kind of leave the theater somewhat upset about that. So it kind of came up again, and so yeah, so to chop it up is not going to be a woman bashing thing, but just when you're in a situation, I guess a woman can feel the same way, that you do everything that you can and you feel underappreciated despite what you do. And how do you deal with that and how do you cope with it? So story as a background, but for a larger conversation on terms of, feeling underappreciated despite your best efforts.
I'm actually looking forward to that conversation. And next Saturday, we're coming back here. And I think Angry Ref is going to join us. K Rain, man, I can never pronounce his name. Versus Dark Vader, Legend of the Dark Side. Who is going to win that matchup? Grandfather or grandson? Come here and let's find out. So, except that, David, anything on your side?
I'm just gonna say, if you come on Wednesday for the episode of Anime Unlocked to hear about Naruto, like I said, no anime is safe. If you do well, we praise you. If you fucked up, we destroy you. It's that simple.
All right, Paul, what about you?
I'm good.
All right. As always, guys, this was the Spartan Execute Network. I am Ghost of Sparta. He is Black David. He is Paul.
Oh,
Stay
boss,
safe.
Femi the ruler.
Stay safe, stay fresh. I'll see you guys in the next one.